Hello, tankers and tankettes. Yeah, this is happening. World of Tanks has done a bit of a silly thing, and the silly thing is they've given everyone a Shah FCM 2C. This has actually been in the game for quite a while in terms of like the model, and they used it in a previous Halloween event, but they've now just put it out as a tank for everybody as a tier 3 heavy. There's not many tier 3 heavies. There's the Shah B1. No, the B1's at tier 4, isn't it? Is there any other tier 3 heavies? There might be. I thought the Gross Tractor might be, but no, I think that's counted as a medium, isn't it? I'm not sure, but anyway, it's a true land ship. It's ridiculous. It is a big chunky boy, and for a fair while, it was the biggest, heaviest tank in the world. It's definitely, you can tell it's got that interwar, post World War One trench crossing heritage going on. Yeah, so it's big, but it's not particularly heavily armoured, even in terms of tier 3. Although the gun is pretty good for a tier 3 gun. It's a short 75mm, 110 damage, 62 average pen, and it's a fairly reasonable rate of fire as well. We're not going to play that though. I'm going to be silly because at the moment tier 3 matchmaking is just chock full of these things. So we're going to take advantage of that and take something that probably is the closest to a tier 3 heavy tank, even though it's not a tier 3 heavy tank, it's a tier 3 light tank. The infamous Panzer 2J. So there we go. We've almost immediately been booted into a battle with essentially virtually all FCM 2Cs. There's a couple of exceptions. You've got some people like me that are just playing other things at low tiers and shooting at the FCMs, but a lot of people are taking their FCMs out for a whirl. It's actually slower than the Panzer 2J, if such a thing is possible. If you have the improved engine equipment on it, you can get it up to I think like 18 kilometers an hour, and with improved engine equipment this thing on flat ground can get up to 21. There we go. 22. Any advance on 22? 23? 24? 25? Oh, we're accelerating now. Speed demon. So yeah, this is somehow faster than that, but given that a rather large amount of the space in the FCM was taken up with the engine to power the beast, yeah, it's maybe not surprising that it's not particularly fast. It's always funny when Wargaming gives away one of these low tiers and suddenly everyone plays it, and it just makes the low tier matchmaking absolutely wacky. So yeah, I expect we're going to get there before everyone else, which is a rare thing in the Panzer 2J. Gosh, we're up to 30 kmh. 30 kmh, for goodness sake. I'm surprised we haven't burst into flames from how fast we're going. Although now we're going uphill, so maybe not so much with the flames anymore. Yeah, let's see what we are able to see. Full prem ammo on this thing, or special ammo, or whatever the hell Wargaming wants to call it these days, because the regular ammo is just diabolically bad. The Panzer 2J is just a low tier credit sink. If you're using the regular ammo on it, then you're doing it wrong. And of course, I haven't had a premium account of World of Tanks for an absolute age, so basically any time I play World of Tanks now these days, I just lose credits. Right, our first customer, you are a bit angled, and even with everything else, we're still, yeah, it's enough. We'll go for the slightly, yeah, I'm not surprised they're firing prem back at me, but even then, you can angle and it will do something. Ooh, let's back up a little bit, shall we? Right, yeah, so we're not doing a lot of damage, but I'm kind of curious to see. We've already got 600 in terms of in terms of the armour blocked, or damage blocked, which is not too shabby for a tier 6. It's more than my hit points. Right, we've almost got that one. That's just another couple of hits and... Oh, no, you've pulled it through. Okay, so that thing has premium heat shells, apparently. 75mm heat. I'm maybe not surprised that's doing some work. It's just a little bit dicey. We're down to half health already, but we have bounced some or negated some shells. Right, you have got BT-7 up the butt. It's an allied one coming to help out. And these things, look at the size of them! I mean, the B1 was a big tank, and compared to the B1, this thing is bigger and heavier and probably longer. So yeah, the FCM was a bit of a wild beast. Right, oh, side of the turret, that's probably going to be alright. 666 damage, maybe I should stop there. Would be appropriate for this tank. Man, even at the low tiers, I mean, okay, I'll be pointing this out when I'm flinging exclusively the Prem ammo, but even at the low tiers, other tanks, it's just, I don't know. Prem ammo remains, along with matchmaking, one of my two biggest kind of bugbears about World of Tanks. The +2 matchmaking, and I mean also these days there's the just utter lack of balance in new vehicles. They appear to have just thrown any notion of balance out of the window when releasing new premiums. It's yeah, it's a little bit, well, I don't know if sad is the right word, but it's certainly a predictable way for wargaming to have gone. So there we go. Yeah, unsurprisingly, we got some 50 credits, 56 credits, K credits down the drain. Unsurprisingly, we got some work done with the armour there. Yeah, I don't know if I should do that again, or should we take something else a little bit less silly? Just, I mean, I still have a fair few tier 3 tanks, a bunch of which I've never even actually played. I mean, we could take the FCM itself, but yeah, I don't know. Let's maybe try the Valentine. Valentine's got some armour going on. I kind of miss the days when you had the 75mm on the Valentine, even if it was terribly slow firing. And then these days you've got the choice of basically the 2-pounder or a crummy 6-pounder. The 6-pounder actually ends up having worse penetration on the Valentine for some reason. It's a bit weird to me that the Valentine isn't at tier 4, because it was technically the successor tank to the Matilda, and yet it's at a lower tier than the Matilda. Right, this is almost more like a normal tier 3 match and only a couple of FCMs. Oh well, I'm sure we'll encounter some of them. These games are so quick, maybe I will do an FCM game after this one. The Char-2C, it's just, it's silly. It's just silly. So none of them are coming this way, sadly. In fact, there's not a lot coming this way. Me and a couple of light tanks. We've already lost radio contact with some of them. It's such a weird mechanic that it kind of feels like such a relic of the ancient past. That you need the radio sets to, like, that governs how you can see your how far away you can see your allies' data. It's just, I don't know, it's weird. It just feels a bit weird to me. Right, looks like the enemy FCMs are largely down there. Oh, hello. Enemy MKA, whatever that is. Kind of don't need the premium ammo in this one. The 2-pounder is more than good enough. It was an excellent early war tank gun and anti-tank gun. You're just kind of sitting there. Okay, wasn't trying to pull back or anything. Let's push on a little bit further. What is that? That's Lutvers. Let's pew pew that. And they're down. There's a 35R. Which is going to be what? Captured French R35? Not actually sure what that is. Even at the low tiers, there's all these. Although that looks like a Russian turret silhouette. I don't know. Even at the low tiers, there's all these tanks I don't recognise these days. And I will say this for World of Tanks: they are. The devs are much more likely to use and put out low tier tank designs, whereas in World of Warships you so incredibly rarely see anything getting added below tier 5, even though there's an awful lot of historical ships that could fit into that sort of tier 2 to tier 5 bracket. I mean, yeah, even tier 5 is an absolute rarity. Much more like to see him doing tier 6s. Right, we've got a couple of things here. Sneaky little T-46, still got plenty of hit points. Anyway, against this guy a bit. Taking some hits from the T2, who's been quite aggressive there, which is fine by me, because I'm not solely taking the brunt of this. I can't remember the last time I played low tier World of Tanks. This is definitely a novel experience. Right, that is the enemy arty, and I think everything else is just kind of over here. Whatever little bit is left. We've still bounced some, but I think I've slightly less thrown myself into the thick of it. If I'd wanted to, I could have gone on that flank, I suppose. Oh, there's also a Lloyd gun carriage somewhere. Ah, yes! They've positioned themselves by the water. Although, are they actually going to try and throw themselves in? No, I don't think they are. It's the natural instinct of the artillery player. Find the nearest body of water, just in case you feel like taking a bath. Some things never change. Boom! Ammo racked. Oh dear, okay. I don't think this... oh yeah, there we go. I got there just in time to see it explode. Okay, well, seeing as how this is going to be a fairly short video, you can see I've played one game in this already. They give you a crew with it. Yeah, let's give it a go. And I actually just want to check out what's the... Eek, okay, 86 mil of penetration on those heat shells. That's fairly effective. Oh no! Well... we're in a tier 4 game, and things just got serious. Don't think I'm going to last very long in a tier 4 game. Oh, goody. Right, okay. Does it even matter which side I go on? I don't think it does. I don't think it does. We'll go with the east flank. We're slow enough that whichever side I choose to go on, hell, even if I went straight up the middle, it's not going to matter. You're not going to get there in any reasonable amount of time, because this thing, it is chonk. It is very, very chonk. In fact, it might be slow enough that it gives me a moment to look up some hot Char 2C facts on Wikipedia. So I was right. It is apparently the largest operational tank ever made. But, you know, that's only because Britain was very silly and decided that we didn't need to deploy or manufacture the TOG-2, which was clearly a grave mistake. I'm not entirely sure what this BT-7 is doing, but I took his track. Yeah. Oh, this is another thing, by the way, that surprised me, that you've only got 2 slots now for equipment on your tier 3s, which feels a bit mean, to be honest. And also, so yeah, they were built in the 20s and were in service still. I'd forgotten this. They were in service still during World War II. Although, of course, that didn't last terribly long for the French. They never actually used them in combat because they would have considered it I mean, it would have been a bit of a propaganda victory for the Germans to have knocked these things out, because they were the headline French tanks, or among the headline French tanks, as much as the French tanks were fairly tiddly little things. Although still very capable for what they were. France actually had more tanks than Germany at the start of World War II. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you really don't need the APCR to pen this thing. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's got a lot of hit points for its tier, but it kind of almost is the TOG-2 of tier 3. All those hit points and basically no armour. Oh, finally spotted. There we go. Panzer 4A. That Panzer 4A! Ooh, yeah, has fired quite a lot of credits at me. And all you can do is really just absorb it. I mean, at least when you play this thing, you are providing the enemy team with a lot of hit points to farm. You can say that at least. Oh, can I safely even back up here? I don't think I can. I think I'm a bit stuck. Okay, we're just going to stay here and await my fate, I think. Not going to last long. No, it's got no armour. It really doesn't. It is truly the TOG-2 of tier 3. So yeah, that is the FCM F1, not the F1, the F1 was a different development. The FCM 2C experience. Yeah, drive slowly, lose a lot of hit points, die. So, yeah, that's the 2C. I think it's more fun to play against it than it probably is to play it. But it's got a certain novelty value, and it does have actually a bit of interesting history to it as a tank. I've also just realised, as I'm getting towards the end of this recording, I accidentally started the recording as a 30 FPS, so rather than the usual 60. If you've noticed that difference, that's why. It wasn't intentional, nothing to do with recording tanks versus warships, it's just I forgot, because I was streaming the other day. And OBS, in the year of our Lord 2025, still doesn't let you set separate target FPS for streaming versus local recording for some reason. It's a bit weird. Anyway, I think this is it for this video. This is a very impromptu World of Tanks video, some low tier silliness. Hopefully you found this amusing. If you have, you can do all the usual things down underneath the video. And of course, as always, stay tuned for more.